All right, Nick, let's talk Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, coming fresh off of their big time win in their preseason game. There's some great quarterback play. Your young rookie came out and ended up winning you the game on a nice touchdown drive there at the end. Very special. Mitch Trubisky looked sharp. Rudolph didn't look bad either. He just didn't look quite as good as the other two, in our opinion. But we're going to get into some stories about Rudolph, some potential rumors floating around there, and we're going to address that. But before we get in there, Steelers fans, we want to know, who has been your favorite Steeler to watch when you were growing up? Who is the person when you were growing up in that era of Steelers football that you really gravitated to? Let us know in the comments below. We're really curious to know. But Nick, let's get into this Mason Rudolph rumor.
Yeah, so before we get into that, I got to say, I always really admired Hines Ward. Just his toughness and grit. Seemed like a really good football player. Just doing all the little things going up. So that'd be my guy if I had to pick one. But based on what you're talking about, let's get an update on the quarterback battle first. According to BroBible.com, after the Steelers' first depth chart was released, there was a lot of hullabaloo about first-round rookie Kenny Pickett's position. He was listed third behind Rudolph and quarterback one, Mitchell Trubisky. This past Tuesday's depth chart, the second of training camp listed Trubisky as QB1 and Pickett as QB2. It is likely to stay that way into the regular season, barring a drastic drop-off from Trubisky or a significant jump from Pickett or both. No matter what plays out, it seems as though Rudolph will be at a loss. He is likely going to finish third in the quarterback battle. Now, with a guy like Rudolph Mize, as him falling behind the scenes in the quarterback battle, sliding into third place, that has now opened the door for some potential trade rumors. And according to 93.7 The Fan, Rudolph is on the Detroit Lions radar, and a deal could get done before week's end. According to theheavy.com, the source of the Steelers-Lions trade rumor was not named. It's speculated, though, to be Doug Whaley, a once candidate for the Steelers general manager vacancy that's since been filled by Omar Khan. Whaley spent a decade in Pittsburgh working under then general manager Kevin Colbert. In his time with the Steelers, Whaley helped scout and draft defensive players such as Lamar Wardley, Troy Polamalu, and Lawrence Timmons. So obviously Whaley's got some connections in Pittsburgh land and knows a thing or two about how that organization runs and works. First of all, Mice, what do you think about Pickett moving up to QB2? And second, what do you think about Rudolph potentially being on the trading block here and what that could mean for Pittsburgh and for Rudolph himself?
Well, first of all, after his performance in the preseason game, Pickett moving up doesn't really surprise me all that much. I think we've been expecting him to make a leap. We don't expect him to be the starter this season, but he definitely looks like a guy who is getting ready. And I think having him behind Trubisky is the perfect situation for him to be in. Go through the season, learn, figure out what you're supposed to do, and then next year he's going to be the guy 100%, no doubt about it. But Rudolph trade rumors, very interesting, especially to me. Very interesting that he's been linked to the Lions. That's one that I didn't think about at first. There's a couple of other places I think we were thinking that he could potentially go to, maybe like the Texans, a couple other teams out there. Who were we thinking? Teams
Giants potentially on that list, maybe. So just basically any team that's got a young quarterback they're not 100% sure about. So obviously there's a couple of teams that fall into that list there. But yeah, I think right now the rumors are, at least according to that rumor, it seems to be all about Detroit right at this moment in time.
And I think the biggest draw here and I think we mentioned this when we were talking earlier, is this is going to be a trade, if happening, that works out for everybody. The Steelers get something. The new team gets Rudolph on a quick 1-year flyer for pretty cheap, and you get to figure out what he is or what he isn't, and then potentially, if he's not the guy that you want to go to, it's a cheap option to get you over for 1 year. You're not wasting too much money. But then, the Steelers get to develop their new quarterbacks, Trubisky and Pickett, and I think Rudolph gets a shot to, prove himself with the team. It doesn't seem like he's going to get the opportunity here in Pittsburgh. So I think overall, it could be beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, it's rare to see such a win-win-win kind of trade situation in the NFL or just life in general. Usually when a player moves on, usually maybe the receiving team has to overpay or the trading team, doesn't get everything they want in return, or they're left in a bad situation, or that player who's getting traded goes from a good situation to a bad situation. But here, Rudolph, let's say if it's hypothetically Detroit, he goes to the Lions where he's going to have a chance to compete with Jared Goff for playing time. And Goff's obviously a little injury prone, so he'll probably see the field a little bit there. The Lions would be happy to get Rudolph. They get, at minimum, a quality backup with a lot of talent and experience who, never really got a real chance because he was playing behind Roethlisberger a number of years. But Rudolph has all the physical tools. He's got the arm strength. He's got the size. And he's really cheap. He's only $4 million against the cap hit this year. And you compare that against other teams. So like last season when the Carolina Panthers made a move and acquired Sam Darnold, who I don't think is nearly as good as Rudolph, even though Darnold played a few more games. I think Rudolph probably has Darnold beat pretty clearly. The Panthers are going to be owing Darnold a cap hit over this season and next season, or last season and this season, about $12 million per year. That's a lot of money tied up for a guy who really isn't that good. Whereas Rudolph, who I think is better, is only going to be a 1-year, 4-year flyer. So Detroit or whoever hypothetically is going to know right away if he's their guy or not, and they're going to know pretty cheaply. And the Steelers, they get to recoup some from their investment, right? This was a draft pick that they used. They did spend some time on him. They tried to see if he could be the Roethlisberger heir apparent. It doesn't look that way based on how Kenny Pickett's been playing. And of course, they drafted him in the first round. Obviously, Mitch Trubisky looks like he's the short-term guy, or maybe even the long-term guy if he really holds on to that job. So here's a great opportunity for the Steelers to get something in return. They ship off Rudolph, get maybe a mid-tier draft pick or some rotational player. A team like the Lions gets a nice backup at minimum, or a guy who can be a good starter with his talent level. And Rudolph gets a fresh start. So how often do you see a win-win-win? And this just seems like a kind of trade that just seems so natural and so easy for all sides to execute. But because of all that, don't you think there's basically a 0% chance this gets done just because it's the only trade in the NFL history that everyone would want? I mean, what are the odds this actually gets done?
Yeah, there's not really much going on with this trade. It makes too much sense.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, it's time to get your internet privacy back today on every device you own in any country you want. Don't let anyone but you control your internet. NordVPN keeps you safe from prying eyes wherever you go online with their military-grade encryption. Is your favorite Netflix or streaming content blocked in the US? You can simply connect to one of the many countries available with NordVPN and get the access you need.
That's right, Maya. So right now, get our exclusive NordVPN deal here at nordvpn.com/SMI. It's risk-free now with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, get that exclusive deal, nordvpn.com/SMI.